Howdy guys, how's it going? So the temperature is finally dropping back down near freezing tonight at 33 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to be testing a new survival kit concept, if you will, and testing it out with an overnighter. So I have this bearskin hoodie. I've got this one and then that dark OD green one. For those of you that's been around this winter, you know that I have wore one of these in almost every single video, and I gotta say I'm really impressed with the overall durability, and this thing has tons of pockets. And I mean, I find myself utilizing the pockets pretty much individually, aside from like the two main pockets that you stick your hands in. But there's one on each arm, there's a chest pocket, there's two interior pockets, there is the two hand pockets on the outside, and then there is like a kangaroo pouch double-sided zip pocket on the back. So I thought, you know what, if you didn't want to take and carry a haversack, or you're just going on a day hike and you wanted to travel light, what if you took and tried to utilize each and every pocket to meet your survival needs in the event that you had to spend some time overnight, or if inclement weather rolled in. So that's what I attempted to do with this one. Now, there's definitely things you can still add, and I didn't want to try to stuff every pocket to the brim. I wanted this to be like a realistic idea of what you would feel comfortable carrying, on like a long day hike, or even just kind of everyday wear. Because as you can see, it's not bulky. The only thing that does look a little funky, because I decided to put it into its small stuff sack instead of just kind of making it fit just the full volume of the pocket itself, is where I've got a poncho in this back double-sided zip pouch. It does stick out a little bit, but you don't feel it on your body. So other than just giving you a bit of lift on the rear end, you don't even really notice that it's there. And there's also other items in that pocket. But if you wanted to, you could easily add a ton, and I mean a ton, of items to this setup to make it fit your needs. But it pretty much covers all that we need. We got fire, we got water purification, we've got signaling. Things are definitely covered with what we have in the jacket, but this is also meant to be kind of like what you would have on your person EDC wise. So I got that Holtzman survival knife right there. So that is a big knife, along with what multi-tool pocket knife. I have the lighter, but we use the ferro rod and stuff that is stored in the jacket. And then I just have this right here is a water filter, but I've got water purification tabs, and I'm going to break out and show you guys everything that's in the jacket. This is a water filter, like something that you would have with you on a day hike, but we are going to go down the creek. We're going to use some water purification tablets. I'll kind of give you guys an idea of what the taste and stuff is like in the event that you was just carrying an Nalgene bottle, because this filter fits onto a Nalgene bottle. So I'm going to take this off, lay it out on the ground, and we'll go over what is in each pocket. Okay, now the high for today is 52, which is what it's at right now. So it's not that bad without not having that on. Because whenever I was hiking in here, I did take and have the thing zipped open. But jumping right into it, on the chest pocket, we'll start there. Not that these are necessarily the most essential items, but there's something you would want to have right at hand up front. I've got my Cyan Sky HS 6R headlamp. It is getting very windy, so I hope it doesn't mess with the audio. But we got the Cyan Sky headlamp, and then this is like a personal preference. This is a Community Comms titanium double-sided waterproof storage container, and in this I just have some 600 milligram ibuprofen, Benadryl, and some caffeine electrolyte capsules. And that's just something that's great to have personally, because I have bad allergies. You got the ibuprofen if I don't know, you tweaked your ankle, you pulled your back, your shoulder, something along those lines, just a minor painkiller. And then the electrolyte tabs, because if it was warmer weather, and they make jackets like this that are also designed for warmer weather. This is obviously a fall and winter jacket, so you could replicate this setup for a summer or spring environment. They ride really good as long as you take and allow them to sit on top of each other like that instead of standing straight up, because when you stand them straight up, they tend to kind of overlap and it just makes the pocket feel really bulky. But those will sit pretty flat there. Now over to the left arm, this is where we got our water purification tabs, and for that I got the Aqua tabs. One of these does 0.75 liters of water, which is about 25 or 26 ounces, I believe, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pure water purification tablets in this, so that is a ton of water, not counting the fact that we had the filter with us. Then other than that, this is pretty much my fire pocket. We got that Atomic Bear ferro rod. It's really thick. We got some paracord here on the handle. We got a striker, and then inside of this waterproof canister, I have got some of that ProCamp Tech fire starting dust. It's like sawdust that's been treated with some type of accelerant, and it's wax, so it's waterproof, and it's also in the waterproof canister. And then we got the ProCamp Tech fire plugs. We've used those a couple times recently. And then we just got some MRE Maxes. I just threw those in there because they're pretty much weightless and they're flat. And then you got a nice immediate form of combustion. And then you also got to remember, we always have a lighter and a ferro rod on our body. We got the ferro rod on our Holtzman knife. And then I got a lighter in my pocket. Going over to the other arm, there's only one item in here. Boop. And this is the Titan Survival Emergency Survival Blanket. And this is an extra large survival blanket, so it's a much bigger than your standard silver Mylar survival blanket. And this one does have camouflage on the outside. I know they make it in orange and a lot more reflective colors, but the inside is still, you know, Mylar, so it'll reflect body heat, and you could turn it the other direction for signaling purposes. Now, I don't have anything in the front two hand pouches. I do on the interior pouches that press up against these, but there's still enough room to fit your hands in there with gloves on. If you wanted to store items in those, you could. Once again, I didn't want to overload this thing to make it seem goofy looking or to the point where you would not want to actually wear it out in the field. So before we look at the back, let's open up the inside. And so on the interior pockets, on the right side, I've got a nice big hank of jute twine. You could put paracord, and also when we get to the back pocket, there's still so much room left. I was comfortably able to fit a 100-foot hank of 550 paracord in the back, and this could also fit in the back. But I just wanted to leave a lot of room in that rear compartment, so you guys could kind of probably add whatever it is you wanted to add. Oh, the other thing I got to mention too is on that Atomic Bear ferro rod, there's also a very loud whistle, so that is your main signaling element. And then in this interior pocket, we have, I think this is a 4-inch. Well, we have an Israeli bandage. I'm pretty sure this is a 4-inch Israeli bandage. And we have our belt that we can easily use as a tourniquet. It's got that, you know, pull cinch system on it, so it's really fast and easy to use as a tourniquet if you needed to. And then for any other, you know, any bleeding issues under that point or up into that point, you could use that Israeli bandage. So now, okay. So in here, I've got one of those Huncho ponchos. To begin with, I stuffed it in here, and like I said, it does fit a lot flatter and fills the volume of that pocket. But if you want to put more items in here, it's easier if you take and just store it in its stuff sack. And this is like an extra large poncho, so it's bigger than your standard size. And then finally, the two items I put in here is food items for later tonight. And you know, when you're going on a hike, it's not unbelievable that you would take and, you know, bring some food along with you. So here we have some Heritage Bit-Long garlic beef jerky. Very good. I already tried a piece of it. We got another new freshie meal. This one is wild tuna, red beans, succulent corn, sweet red peppers, and chopped onions. And then I just threw in the spoon and fork that come with the freshie variety pack. And that does it. Other than our Holtzman knife, which is like a really nice big chopper, so it can cover a lot of rolls in the cutting tool category. That is it. So now let's go take and try to find a spot that will be pretty sheltered out of the wind. Come up with a camp setup. Okay, this area right here should work perfectly because we are in the middle, and I mean the middle of a very dense laurel thicket, and there's lots of big trees around us. We just need to clear out this area a little bit and kind of figure out what exact pitch we want to set up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this big tree to that tree right there, which is most likely out of frame at the moment. I've got to get a couple of these little laurels and stuff out of the way, probably get that one limb off of that laurel out of the way, and then we need to fill this area up with leaf debris, which, just like the issue we ran into in that out where we have our underground shelter, there's definitely a lot more here than there was, you know, over there, because we'd already used a lot of it that was available. But with this stuff, we're just going to kind of have to rake it up and do what we can with it. Luckily, the ground is not wet, and it's not supposed to rain like at all, like a 0% chance. So should be able to make this work. Some of these I can probably just pull out of the ground. I know that one right there, that's not going to happen. So here's going 20 different directions. Soft piece of root right there. I really don't know quite sure what this is. It's some type of hardwood tree, but it's never going to amount to nothing underneath all this cover. So that's what I'm saying, like having the stuff in the pockets, like you don't even feel that it's there and like it doesn't hinder your movement at all. Spread that big mound out more evenly for the bed setup once we figure out how we're going to do our tarp. Let's go ahead and get the jute twine out, poncho out, and kind of get an idea of surface area and how we can best utilize it in this space. Okay, there's no center grommet here, which I thought there was. That presents a challenge. Yeah, I have an idea. Since I know pretty much where I want to lay, I can stake down my corners because I do want the back against the ground. Then I can run like a clothesline up top, attach the hood, and then run out my four corners. I'm going to try to make stakes out of these laurels because I can make them fit through the size of the grommet hole. I'm just a little worried because where we're in the middle of all this stuff, this ground is going to be rooty. That one went in okay. Do what I was thinking about doing. Like this right here will be spread out more. Don't need as much at the foot area, but I was pleased to find this much stuff, and I'll pick out some of the other sticks once we lay on it, kind of get an idea of where certain problem areas are. So I've never done a configuration exactly like this before with a poncho. It's kind of like a lean-to plow point type of deal, but we have plenty of really nice head cover, and this is a setup that I really want to try whenever it does rain sometime. But we got our bed stuff pretty much situated. I mean, I stepped on that pretty good, and there's about that much insulation between me and the ground, plus we got that really good survival blanket Right here's kind of a look of the outside. The thing that really gives this so much room on the interior was being able to tie the hood out to these laurels. We'll take and start getting this bad boy out of the wrapper. There's the information card on it. So now I see this one's supposed to be like a lot tougher than regular Mylar blankets. I even seen pictures of people putting stakes through the material and it not ripping, unlike, you know, like a regular Mylar blanket would. So I'm not sure what the exact difference is in material, but as you can see, it's still super shiny and reflective on the inside. I think I'm going to have to back y'all up and zoom out in order to... Still feels really thin. Which, I mean, it has to be to pack down that small. It's not as noisy or as loud as regular Mylar. This thing might be about the exact same size as my poncho, or even a little bit. It's definitely a little bit wider. Because this is way better than the regular Mylar blanket, because you can fold this underneath yourself, sit on it. I don't know if I'm still in frame or not. Then you have tons to like wrap around, to wear it over your head in the rain. And as soon as you wrap these things around, you can feel it to start like reflecting your body heat back against you. And it feels like it's almost got just a wee bit of stretch to it. And see, I got a pack of these, and I have a really cool shelter that I'm going to be building that I've had planned for like 2 months now. Originally, I was going to make it out of regular Mylar blankets. Once I seen these, I really wanted to use these since they're larger and a lot more durable. The only thing is, where it's been so windy, it's going to be pretty much impossible to build this shelter in high winds, especially while trying to film it. So that's what's been putting that off. Try to lay this down and get an idea of how the best way will be to sleep with it tonight. It's definitely getting breezy, so it could end up being a pretty chilly night. So this right here is the way I can hold it lengthways. That's the longest end. So yeah, this is longer than I am tall. We could go diagonal and I could fold it over myself. That might be what we try to go for. But I think for right now, just so we can get an idea of things and lay down on it and make sure nothing's going to poke a hole in it. Yeah, like I'd take and scoot this closer up so you could wrap this around, and then if it's going to be breezy, I need to figure out a way to get my fire area, because like we ain't going to necessarily be relying on the fire, but I do want to have one. It'll have to be right here instead of kind of up here near where my upper body is, just because the way the land is sloped. So let's get that figured out. Okay, so I took and found and broke off this yellow poplar stick right here, and it's really sturdy and dried out, so we're going to use this as our digging stick as much as we can. Once again, when we're in the middle, in the thick of all this stuff, it's going to be very rooty, so we're probably not going to be able to dig down as far as I'd like to. And like right here, wait, no, about right here, that's our tarp line. There we go. Now we have a nice, safe fire pit. And I'm going to take and finish off that water, because that was a lot more digging around them roots than I thought it would be. So I'm going to finish that off, and then we'll go down to the creek and fill up and try out them water purification tabs. Alright guys, so I went down there, I got a full bottle of water. I just took and poured it out till it's right at about the 25 ounce mark. I know it's got a little bit darker, and that's because as soon as I got back, I realized that I needed to charge my battery. So that's what I've been doing. I've not put the water purification in yet. I was going to show you guys that as we do it, because it's got to set for about 30-40 minutes. And I'll get a light on here in a minute, but this is the Aquatabs thing, so I'm going to see if I can just take one out at a time. There's 2 like per square. And I took the filter out of the Survivor filter bottle. There's no reason why these should do any damage or hurt the filter. I just didn't take time to read if you're supposed to use something like this with that filter, because I can't remember what exactly is in their filter. So if I can get this little tablet out. There you go. Very, very tiny. Open it up. Drop it in. Shake it up a bit. I think it says shake for like 10 minutes. Well, this water is pretty clean, so I mean, I'm not super worried about that part of it. But we are going to let it sit for at least a 30 or 40 minute time period. And next thing's next, we need to get a fire going because it is cooling off pretty rapidly. I hope this survival blanket here can do its job for later tonight. So this isn't really much of an issue because right now it's actually pretty calm out here. It was really breezy and it's supposed to get windy tonight. It's supposed to get windy tonight. But we use our fire plugs on this one. We'll use the Atomic Bear ferro rod. That right there was actually a pack of sugar that was left over from MRE, but that don't really count towards this kit. That's just something your boy here missed. Some stuff broke up. I got our Pro Camp Tech do jig right there, all splayed out. Now, whenever it comes to using the strikers that come with ferro rods, most of the time I don't like them at all. This one has a decently good 90-degree spine, but I made it to where I can pull it off of the carabiner easily to strike it. And this end right here near the key ring seems to be the sharpest. There we go. Boom. Okay, we can tilt that up and we'll put it back down in the hole. Put this back on the carabiner so that it doesn't, so we don't lose it. I'll have to give that a second because right there. Give us something to put a little distance between our small kindling and the flame so we don't smother it. And now let's keep adding this pine until we got ourselves a nice little deal. Our water's got about 15 more minutes before it will be drinkable. And I am hungry, so I'm ready to crack into that freshie and have some more of that jerky. Fires are rocking and rolling. There's a small breeze kicking up. It's been almost 30 minutes. I gotta say, I thought this stuff caused more decoloration. It does make it look just like a hair foggier, I guess is the word. But I thought it turned it like a much different color than what it was, because it was completely clear. Now it's just a bit opaque. And I'm curious to see what the taste is like. But man, I'm telling you, I'm getting hungry. The fire's, like I said, the fire's doing good. Got some of this really small stuff right here I can throw on it anytime I want to kick up some flames. This smells like fresh water mix. Like this, if you took and mixed just, I don't know, maybe like 1/50th of this with like chlorinated pool water, that's what I get, smell-wise. And this stuff is completely safe and all. You know, I wouldn't want to drink it day in, day out for like, 6 months. Because that might throw your body's pH or something off. I don't know the exact chemistry or science behind it. But, let's see what it tastes like. Not to blind you, but that just tastes like water. I don't understand. Some people say that, that stuff makes water taste bad. This stuff does not make the water taste bad at all. This tastes 10 times better than like what you get out of a water fountain at the gym. Stoked the fire a bit. Now it is time to try this freshy Aztec enchilada, whatever it's called. But yeah, so wild tuna. Crack it open and see what she looks like. That right there, it looks really good. Now I'm fine with draining a little bit of that juice off. Let's get over here and see what this tastes like. I'm starting to sweat a little bit because it's really warm under here once you get the fire going. I really like this poncho stuff. I like the fact that you can take and like tuck your head up in this corner if it was raining. Dude, okay, well I just got a whiff of this. This stuff smells good. Like they actually take and put a good amount of onion too in these. Like that's something I feel like some places kind of skimp on. And like flavor wise, mix it up a little bit because the tuna's on the bottom. Kind of have to break it up, but it's hard to do in these cans without dumping everything everywhere. Kind of just have to sticky thing in there and twist it a little bit. Okay, let's just give that a go. Got another win. Dude, I wish they would make these bigger though. I know like what these are meant to be, like a snack or a salad topper, things like that, but they should really consider making jumbo sizes. God, that's getting really hot. So I think with this, just add a sprinkle bit more salt and a good bit of black pepper, and this would be 10 out of 10. This right here is about a 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 the way it is. And this like isn't one of those things to where it's like, you know, 10% tuna and the rest of it's bean. This right here is mostly tuna. I'd say it's about like a 70-30, like 70 tuna, 30% all the other stuff. It's not a scientific measurement, just a eyeball subjective measurement. Heritage Long Beef Jerky has been super fresh. And it stays fresh even after you close the bag. That's why I like having the resealable. The resealable bags. I'm not going to eat all of it right now because I ate some earlier. And in case I get hungry in the middle of the night, or I want some in the morning, I'm going to say about like a handful. It's just really hard to stop eating it once you start. Yeah, microtabs don't taste bad at all. Well, I guess now all we got to do is just sit here and enjoy the fire and think thoughts, you know. Alright guys, the fire's already died down to cold, and I'm tired. It is definitely cooler now. One thing is good though, I mean there's not really that many insects out yet, but having that smoking the way I got it right now, that's really keeping the flying insects away from my headlamp. So let's see if we can position this in a very comfy fashion. Because we need that just to be level with our bed, and everything else can be wrapped up over top of us. Wrap our feet like that. And somehow I've wound up with this really nice arch support in my lower back, so that's nice. I will take and pull this over my head while I was asleep. There'll be some condensation in it probably, but it'll be fine because I'll probably end up sleeping on my side or like kind of on my front. Like when I do stuff like this, I got this like triangle pattern that I hold whenever I want to lay on my stomach, and it works very well. We might go into detail on that sometime in the future, but whether or not that's comfortable will depend on your like your body type and your physique and everything else. But yeah guys, thanks for hanging out, and I'll I'll see y'all in the morning. Well, I'm definitely ready to get out of here this morning. That was actually, I knew I should have brought another flannel to go in between my base layer and this fleece. Like, I wasn't like freezing or nothing, but it did get, if I didn't keep this emergency blanket like wrapped all the way around me, it would get pretty cool, because like this does reflect a lot of body heat back, but anytime you let air in, the air will just kind of strip the heat away from you. It did get a bit breezy last night. Like this morning, it's really calm, but yeah, it was pretty breezy. The poncho setup done very good. Like I said, we wasn't relying on a fire or nothing. I really wanted to test out this blanket and see how it performed with everything. And I mean, overall, this kit done phenomenal, and would highly recommend the equipment. I really recommend these. These are the best survival blankets, hands down, as far as like the Mylar and stuff goes, because they're very stretchy. And we'll add this up so we can use it on that shelter build I was telling you guys about. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you hadn't already, share the channel with your friends, family, anybody enjoys the good old outdoors. Check out the links in the description of the gear if you're interested. I know people would normally always want to know like what certain things are, where they can find it. That's in the description box. Please feel free to hit me up in the comment sections, thoughts, questions, concerns, ideas, just anything you feel like throwing my way. And also check the description box for links to my other 2 YouTube channels, gaming channel, shooting channel. So with all that covered, guys, until the next adventure, adios.